Welcome all PCT members and traders. This is episode 1 of PCAH, Pika, or Profit Chasers After Hours. This is a podcast where we're answering all questions investing that comes to, obviously, day trading, crypto. We have real estate. We're going to be bringing on professionals. These guys are just a bunch of weirdos. They're not pro. I'm just kidding. They're pros.
Yeah, we're pretty dumb.
And this is basically where we're going to be able to elaborate more on certain questions that you guys have. Because the live streams that we do have, often there's an influx of questions, a lot of FAQs. And I feel like I don't get a chance to elaborate on them. Plus, I know I'm not the best at every single field of investing. So it's best to interview people so my audience could, maybe they don't like day trading, maybe they want to do more real estate, things of that nature. So, as always, leave in the comments below or DM me on Discord any questions you want us to go over. PC members and PC Gold members, we're going to actually be bringing you on stage in Discord so you can ask your questions live in episode 2. So, be thinking about that. But anyways, I'm going to let these gentlemen, introduce themselves. First, you guys know Dagan. He's on the Zoom chat because he's in a good state. So, Dagan, I guess kind of... maybe we'll go around just where you're at in life, how much you hate your life, and
A lot.
and how you got to trading or investing, I guess.
Okay. My name's Dagan. As you guys all know, I'm sure you've all talked to me through DMs or live chat or whatever. I'm 22. I finished college and got a pretty good degree and decided I'd rather take a year or two off and try to learn how to day trade. I just felt like it's more important to have freedom in my life than just stability all the time. So I guess this was a good path for me. I would say I'm probably like the main admin in the server. Always here if you have questions.
The only at the moment.
What else about me?
You have a really weird. It's cute because it's ugly because you feel bad for it, dog.
I have a pug named Appa, which is probably my mascot for all of my profile pictures that you'll see of me.
Oh, that's what his Instagram
That's
profile.
what it is.
I
Yeah,
was. I
it's a
just
pug.
am just connecting the dots. that is what your
Yeah.
Instagram profile picture is. I thought it was Avatar.
That's what Appa's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I guess if you have anything else, Dagan, I guess just save it. No, I'm just kidding.
I could say I moved to Florida to get away from Jason and the cold weather in New York.
Yeah, well,
I would highly advise that if you're a trader to move to Florida. Less taxes.
yeah, trading in New York isn't the best, but I guess that can open it up. I'm gonna start by answering a question, and then I'll let the other two gentlemen introduce themselves. Time zones. So time zones are a huge thing when it comes to day trading. We are in the Eastern Standard Time Zone in the United States. Now, there's certain platforms that you can and cannot use if you are in the United States. We have the ability to have access, in my personal opinion, to the best platforms out of any country. Now, we are inhibited by a certain law, which we're going to go over in a little bit. A lot of you are probably already shaking your head. But because we're in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, market doesn't open until 9:30. So that's super good because we get to catch some extra Z's in the morning, while some of you who are Mountain Standard Time, even further west than that, I have a buddy who trades in Hawaii. I do believe in certain times of the year, due to daylight savings, market opens at like 3 a.m. in the morning. So definitely, when it comes to choosing this career path, know that yes, you can do this anywhere in the world at any time. In my personal opinion, no. Now, swing trading is when you buy and sell a stock within a series of days, holding it for a few days. But day trading is intraday opportunities. And when it comes to day trading, I personally like to day trade only the first 30 minutes to an hour of market open. I find there's the best opportunities there. Most volume is in the first hour market open. And so when it comes to being able to do it at any time, it's very hard. Plus, on weekends it's closed and holidays it's closed. But I wanted to add that in there. Eastern Standard Time is in my opinion, probably the best time zone to day trade in, just because you get a few extra hours of sleep. I personally like to work out in the morning, get my brain rejuvenated, and at a high frequency ready for day trading. But I guess it's a good segue into crypto because crypto actually can do that at any time, at any place.
24/7, yeah. Well, I'll start by introducing myself to all you guys. I'm pretty new, I guess, I wouldn't say I'm new to Profit Chasers. I've been around the block. I've been in the making for a while, but I'm the newest crypto analyst for Profit Chasers, which is dope. I'm really excited to take on that role, mainly because Jason is, I would say, he's equally knowledgeable on crypto as myself. It's just that he has a lot of, I feel like you're so busy day trading and stuff, it's hard for you to, like, he's a genius with crypto as well, so it's not like, don't feel like you can't ask him crypto questions or whatever, because he still can answer anything on crypto. He's a freaking god. But a little about myself. I'm a 21-year-old. I live in northern New York. Kind of sucks, but I'm a computer science student. I got into this life, I guess, by not wanting to be in school and working a 9 to 5 the rest of my life, and read a bunch of very influential books and just was like, yeah, I think this is for me. So probably a lot of your viewers and stuff are on the same path as me, realizing just don't want to work for someone the rest of their life. They want to have a little bit of freedom, not have 2 weeks of vacation every year.
So Owen, what got you into really diving deep into blockchain and Web3? I know.
Well, if we're being honest, the first thing that ever got me into it was I was really addicted to poker at one point in my life. I was a gambler, and I thought that was the way. When I first realized I didn't want to go to school and work for someone, I was like, I think I could be a good poker player. So
you watch some Dan Bilzerian videos?
Oh yeah, a lot of Dan Bilzerian videos. But no, the only way you could play poker online was with crypto. And I was like, shit, I don't know how to buy crypto. I'm like 18 or whatever. I'm 21 now, and I was like, well, I guess I better get my hands on some Bitcoin. So I bought a bunch of Bitcoin, but it's really fucking low. And turns out I'm not a very good gambler. Long story short, lost all my Bitcoin.
Which Bitcoin then you roughly probably 3,000.
Well, when I first got into 5, it was probably like 3,500. Then I stopped, and then I took a hiatus from gambling, and then I got back into it I think it was about a little over a year ago. So it was around $20,000 then for one Bitcoin. So even then I would have 3x now, but well, I guess it's around a little under 50K today. But yeah, so that's what really got me into crypto. But as far as blockchain and Web3,
everyone else, gambling isn't the right way.
Yeah, no, I think
was it on Rubat?
Was it Rubat and what's
it
the
was
spaceship
Rubat.
one?
There was a bunch. This was also a couple years ago, so there's some different ones.
I see that Plinko one is pretty.
Yeah, with
Plinko.
like the 1000x on the
Yeah.
top.
Oh, I
Is
also
that-
played a lot of Crash.
The spaceship.
Yeah, I used to think I would only play. I used to have this
instantly.
this algorithm in my head I would use to this is how it works, but I always lost. Yeah, so don't.
Would you
gamble.
always buy in right as it would instantly stop, thinking next one will rock it?
Well, no, sometimes I would mainly just be like, okay, I think it was I forget the number, but I would try to only play X number of times after a super high so I would only play that, and I was like, one of these is gonna have to be another big
Right.
one, but yeah, no, a lot of Crash. But back to blockchain and Web3, what really got me into that was Naval Ravikant and Chris Dixon did a great podcast, and I remember it was a few months ago when I started just getting into NFTs. I was like, wow, this stuff is really the future, and I was trying to explain it to some people, and they were like, dude, no, you're dumb, what are you saying? I'm just gonna screenshot
right.
this. And
The
I was like,
JPEG.
yeah, so I was like, shoot, you're right, you can't just screenshot it. So then I started to dig a little deeper myself and look at the technology of it, and I'm like, this is really going to take over the world. And I'm like, and then I find out there's actually is a revolution going on right now on the internet, which is called Web3. And it's essentially just the process of decentralizing the internet, which is so important because who the hell wants someone at the bank paying you I don't know, just a very what's the word? A very sticky, I don't know, just, yeah, you can't trust the bank, in my opinion. But, yeah. So that's what got me into it.
Well, I'm surely glad you got into it because you saved me a lot of time. So, Owen, where it comes into play when it comes to what I do is I no longer have as much time as I used to when it came to researching what's it? Researching. Are you serious? Projects. I
Okay,
literally
yeah,
had
yeah,
it as a
like
project.
researching,
I
like,
stopped
okay.
it. Projects, and basically, I told Owen, and we collaborated on what was the criteria I really liked in said projects. And the reason I knew that we had the same criteria is because he would call me and say, "Hey, check out this project," or I'd say, "Hey, what are your thoughts on this project?" And either he would say, "Oh, I'm already invested in it," or I would say, "Oh yeah, that's on my watch list." So pretty soon I found out that we had pretty similar criteria. Now, those of you who are invested in crypto, I'm sure you saw the crazy fake spike in prices yesterday.
Yeah, I was actually a billionaire yesterday, guys.
Yeah,
for about 20 minutes when my cadena was about $200,000 a share.
Yeah, so
But,
he called me, and Cadena is a project that we're both heavily invested in. We're actually going to be potentially mining, which we'll get into crypto mining in another thing, because that's something that he introduced to me, and he's got great connections with. But he called me, he's like, "Dude, do you still hold all the Cadena that we talked about?" And I was like, "No way." Like, I thought it tanked. I'm like, "Dude, like, I just lost, like, several thousand. It's a really good project. I'll continue to hold. I'll be at Diamond Hands." And I check, and it's like, holy shit, like $18 million I had in my crypto account. I was like, "No way." Like,
Yeah, I was
I
like,
screenshotted
"Wow,
that, and I was
we're
like,
going on vacation." No.
well, we are going on vacation.
Yeah,
But
soon
What
enough.
was that on? Was that on KuCoin?
That was no Coinbase.
It was all
Really?
yeah. No,
Yeah.
so
Coinbase
supposedly
It was Coinbase, CoinMarketCap,
Crypto.com.
everything but
essentially,
KuCoin.
Yeah.
Everything but KuCoin.
Yeah, no, my KuCoin actually didn't show that, but I guess like where they fetch their data from, there was some like glitch or something. So basically, they all fetch their data from the same place, and like so all of them are like showing the same stats. And on Twitter, I'm just seeing like so many people like. I actually posted a tweet yesterday. I'm like, "Am I a billionaire?" And it
I
actually,
know,
it
yeah.
actually blew up, kind of.
I looked at the market cap to see like
The market cap also
1.4
adjusted.
trillion dollars.
Like all of the other data. Yeah.
1.4 quintillion.
I was like, wait, let me check the market cap because this
That's
is getting up, and it was
that's. I felt like I was a Shiba
a
holder
Shiba,
to
an early
$1.
into Shiba. Yeah, that got me.
But-
Yeah, no.
Anyway, moving on from that, to answer some of the questions we already did have. Before that, I guess the gentleman to my left, you guys have, well, I guess in this video to my right. No, it's still my left. Hold on. Okay,
He's
cool.
to your left in the video. Yep. Oh wow.
I guess introduce how you fall into this mess. I know you guys have probably seen him on I think my first TikTok I ever created is him mucking down a Hot Pocket, and I won't say how much we had to drink that night, but
Yeah, that was a fun time. So I'm Reese Gray. I'm 20 years old. I've been a part of Profit Chasers since there was about 5 of us.
it
5
was
or 4
me,
of us.
you. I think there was you were the initial 3 or 4.
Yeah, so I've been there since the beginning, and Jason inspired me, as probably he did to all of you as well, to start day trading. Just seeing him grow up 10 times as fast as me really made me just drive to be the best I can. I'm also the main video editor for Profit Chasers, so if this kid will record some YouTube videos, we'll be pumping those out recently.
I've been slacking. He's been pushing me for content creation. For some reason, I've been in a content creation lull. As you
like
can
a-
tell. Yeah, I just feel like my creative block is
Creative block, yeah.
like writer's block, but
Writer's block, yeah.
video's block. Like
Video.
continue, I guess.
Videography.
But I've been day trading for around 3 years. I remember just during study hall going into a closet of some teacher's room, just on my MacBook trading with Jason. We had like each 3,000 in our account, just trading penny stocks, blowing all of our money.
We had similar kind of like you guys had like penny stocks. I had gambling.
It's the same thing, almost.
But no, once you put the time and effort in, it definitely pays off. And using a Profit Chasers team is a great source
Right.
to just improving your knowledge on it as a whole, and that's why I'm pushing it out to everybody I know, because why not take this great opportunity that you have in front of you to just escape the 9 to 5 and just live the life you're meant to be.
Right. Yeah. So to elaborate on that, Reese was there for all of the oops lessons, the expensive ones, the I don't really know how to trade, but I'm gonna pretend like I do lessons.
Yeah.
And I like to say I've advanced a little bit since then in 4 years, and basically I was at that time I was not a profitable trader. I would be for a month or two, and then I would let my ego get the best of me, and I'd throw it all in a penny stock, trying to get over PDT as soon as I could. That's why I like these small account challenges I'm doing, because it's kind of remembering those lessons I had as a young trader. Now, I am going to say this one story before we continue on the questions, but we used to take like a 1 or 2 year gap on a trading hiatus because there was one ticker. You can look this up, ticker MYO, and it was a leading gapper. It was probably one of the biggest and best pushes I've ever seen. It was a stock that went from like $4 to an absurd like $80 in a matter of a day or two. So really good intraday opportunities, and we missed out on a few of them, and we had to be super selective because we were under the pattern day trader law, which I will then elaborate on in a minute. But basically stating we had a limited amount of trades. Now we took a trade on the said stock. Actually, no. Reese took a trade on it first, and he was up a little bit in the green. He was up probably 20%, which is a lot on the trade.
It's like $200 bucks.
You're up $200, right? And I asked, was it me that asked? Like
you asked, you said, "Is the water warm?" I was like, "It's warm. It's warm."
I asked, like, is the water warm, Reese? And I don't know. I've never said that in my life. And he's like, "It's warm. Jump in." And so I jumped in with. Oh, I think we lost Dagan. No, it's
I'm
his.
here.
I jumped in with literally my entire account,
Like 3,000.
like 3,000, and I think it got halted
10.
going down.
Yep.
I remember I lost like $700 on it out of a $3,000 account that, botched the entire account. And that really made him take a trading
that
hiatus.
put a big damper on my ego.
Now I stuck with it. I continued to work. Ever since that, I picked up endless shifts. I come from a construction background. Now I was able to work extra overtime. I worked side jobs. I did as much as I could, working as many hours as I could. Needless to say, I didn't see my fiance, or I guess my girlfriend at the time. And I built that account up, and I'd like to say I have a little bit better strategies than I did then.
Yeah, I could say from first-hand experience, this kid, his knowledge it's increased so rapidly. Even if it has been 3 years,
Yeah.
we have gentlemen that are over the age of 50 that have watched the market grow 3 decades longer than we've been alive, saying like how much knowledge he has.
We
It's
do
just
actually have a lot of
spectacular.
older individuals that realize the system's broken. They don't have enough to actually retire, and it's kind of sad to me. But we've been able to actually assist those individuals and teach them how to trade. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
It's gonna even get worse as time goes on, as Social Security
Yes.
becomes
I'd agree.
nothing. So
I'd agree.
it's
And
important
even
to
this
learn
year,
now.
in hyperinflation, say, people shoot for 8 to 10% a year. Hyperinflation is sitting at a whopping 6 to 8%. So basically, you're barely beating inflation with those numbers. You have to make at least 15 to 20% for it to be worth your time. And in my opinion, for it to really be worth your time and to actually do something, I want to see multiples, X's. I want to see 10X. I want to see, hundreds of percent gains. Now, obviously, we're not talking scam coins. We're talking 1% a day and compounding that interest. We do have a calculator for in a journal for all of our students where basically you plug in $1,000 and you focus on 1% a day for 253 trading days, which is a full year. And that measly 1,000 turns into almost like $20,000.
That's what motivated me when you showed me the compounding interest of just 1% a
1%
day.
a day.
Yeah.
And over time, just seeing how simple it can be to gain 1% in the market.
A day. 1%.
It's just crazy how much it adds up.
And yeah, that's intraday like we talk about. We are in and out in a single day, and we can short. Something we didn't do when we first started, so we can actually make money when the stock goes down. I'll explain shorting very simply. You are borrowing these shares from a broker and in hopes of giving them back at a cheaper price. Now, say I borrow one share at $100 and I give it back to you or sell it back to you. Well, in this case, buy it back from you for $80. I now made $20 because it decreased in value and I get to keep the difference. So you actually, not a lot of people know this, you actually make money when the stock's going down. So it's something we didn't do back then, but we certainly do now because on bloody days like halfway of today and yesterday, shorting certain stocks, you still can make a killing on in a slow day.
So I've never actually shorted a stock before. What does the process entail of shorting a you can do that exactly just through Thinkorswim?
Just
as easily?
Here's the thing. I have a lot of my students, they have to enter a hard-to-borrow program. Or basically, it's so easy. All you do is you click on support in Thinkorswim, and you say, I want to short. And they'll say, here's the enrollment for the hard-to-borrow program.
Okay.
They're going to get you in that program. And basically, that means once you're enrolled, you now can short more stocks than the average Joe. Because they don't just let anyone short stocks. Because it's limited to borrow.
Figured, yeah.
It'll say hard to borrow, none to borrow, easy to borrow. And what you do is literally in reverse. So say, on a given day, I'm usually shorting Tesla. Not that I'm against the company, but it usually provides a good opportunity. And I just say I'm shorting 100 shares. So a $100,000 short position. And what I do is I just click 100 shares, sell market. That's what I do. I click sell. I just click sell market. And so you're thinking, how can you sell shares that you don't have? But TOS, Thinkorswim, knows you want to do that, and it'll say your position is now negative 500 shares. So as the stock goes down, you are making money. And then all you do is click
Just
buy market back.
Okay.
It is literally so simple. Now for certain breakouts, I don't use limit orders usually on shorting. I find just buying market is just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But let's talk about PDT. But Dagan, how are we doing on time? Do we know when we started this?
Started around 6:30, right?
Oh, we got plenty of time. Yeah, we got. So let's go over PDT, but let's go over some of the questions our PC members and our PC Gold members had. Now again, if you guys aren't in the PC member chat, that's just go to profitchasers.net or click the first link in the description under the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on YouTube, there'll be a link in there. If not on Spotify or Apple Music, go to profitchasers.net. So a question I had from one of my students was Rigo. He said, who did I learn from the most, and when you started trading, or was it more like trial and error? So I think he worded this wrong, but I do understand what he's saying. Basically, who taught me how to learn? When it came down to it, I tried to learn from every single YouTuber, influencer out there. I watched probably 15 different traders at a time. Now, this was years ago, so there wasn't many traders out there, but there's still enough for me to just try to copy way too many traders in their strategy. And what I learned quickly was there's so many different strategies. All I need to do is pick one that fits my personality type the most, one that I think is the easiest, and one that'll get me rich, and that's what I did. And instead of copying a trader, I said I'm going to formulate my own strategy, because I felt like in my heart, if I was going to teach it, it had to be my own strategy. Plus, I didn't have certain accessibilities that other traders had. I didn't have certain platforms. I didn't like their strategies. I'm not going to name any names. If you guys want me to recommend other traders and myself, I can do that. But what I did was I started to formulate my own strategy, and under about 5 to 6 years it took me to kind of fully create it since watching YouTube, and I call it the momentum day trading strategy. Now I know there's other traders that have a rough strategy like mine, but what I do is I buy a stock high and I sell it higher, and I make the difference. Now usually these stocks are ripping up hundreds of percents in the morning, and all I gotta do is capture 1% of it. And basically, to Rigo, your question is, was it more like trial and error and 100%. In my personal opinion, experience is the greatest teacher. So by tuning into the market every single day, even if you're paper trading,
Paper trading, guys.
paper trading, yeah, paper
You
trading.
get $200,000 of free money to just do whatever you
People
want.
are
Yeah,
gonna-
but do it right. I
Money,
remember I paper
money.
traded, and
Yeah.
when I first started getting into it, I lost all my paper trading right at the start just because I was like, so. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
paper
obviously
trading
it's
is
not the
super,
same
paper trading is
'cause-
super. I obviously use paper
Yeah.
trading with your program, not just like
Yeah.
free ball. It was like I know how to like
Yeah.
learn from
No, I know.
Jason with paper money if you don't
Mhm.
have the
And
the funds.
and if you're paper trading, I would use realistic numbers. Someone tries to use the full 200 grand with a $10 an hour job.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work. But if you have 5 or 10,000 saved up, it's best for you to see those numbers, to visualize those numbers, because you gotta think fast when it comes to trading. The quantity of your position, how big it is, how many shares you're taking, how many shares you're selling, and so by doing realistic numbers, I think just by tuning into the markets, sitting down at your desk every single day and watching it live is the best teacher, bar none. You can watch as many videos, as many highlights, as many podcasts like these. Yes, they help you learn, but the fastest and best way to learn for me, Rigo, was strictly trial and error and being consistent. There's a lot of people in this sector that scream scam. They think it's impossible to day trade. You're better off, long-term investing than day trading, and they throw that number. 90% of day traders fail, but they often forget the 10% that succeed, and they think they don't exist. And I can tell you they do exist, and the ones that do exist, they steal all the other 90%'s money, like it's taking candy from a baby. So really just understand consistency and understand basically just consistency. Tuning into the markets every single day. It took me about 3 years at least, probably more like 4 years, till I considered myself a profitable trader, and then 5 to 6 years till I considered myself a professional trader. And that's from watching videos, that's from simulation trading, trading my own account, and then getting to where I am now. So PDT, yeah. Dagan, do you want to talk about the PDT while I'm looking at the other questions to talk about?
Sure. PDT is pretty simple. I'm sure more than half of you struggle with it. It's the law that the United States has where you can't take more than 3 day trades a week unless you have 25K, which just slows so many people's growth. I'm sure even Jason would have been to the level he is now probably 6 months earlier than he is, just because he was held back by that.
Oh yeah.
Going back on that, actually, with the PDT and paper trading, even if you have more than 25K, say you've got 30K, 35K sitting around, paper trade first. You don't want to just jump straight into it with real money and end up blowing it, and then you're stuck below PDT and you have to climb all the way back up. I definitely think paper trading is a key factor, and especially in the way we teach things. You want to see the numbers move, you want to get the position sizes, you want to be able to time it. PDT is not something you want to mess with because it can really slow you down. That was the biggest thing for me with PDT was the fear of losing trades instead of the fear of losing money. And just knowing that if I take a trade and say it doesn't go how I want it to go and I have to stop out and I lose $10, who cares? But the thing that really bothered me was that I didn't have a PDT or I would be down to 2 trades because of the PDT, which kind of slowed me down in the long run because it just took me longer and longer and longer to finally get above it, just because I didn't want to waste trades.
This is one that we can all answer. Student, Lord Calvert, he's got a 2-parter. First is, personally, I would like to know where your motivation comes from, both when you started out trading and what it has evolved to into today. So maybe we can just kind of go around it and talk about where our motivation comes from, and I guess why we're doing this in the first place, why we're trading, why we're going against societal's plan. And for me, was I looked up when I was 13. I'll never forget where I was, and I just looked up how to make money online. Because all I want to know is I wanted to be my own boss and I wanted to work anywhere in the world. And a video came up. This is several years ago, 7 years ago. It's crazy, and a video came up saying you can do this, and it was I'm sure a lot of you know it. What's it called? Drop shipping. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I tried it. I tried to sell jewel wraps online, like vape pen wraps, and I had a pretty kick-ass website. in my
Bro, that
opinion.
could have been killer.
I know, this was before like Jewel like took off,
Really.
and it was just at the start. But I knew it's not like it wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't have any capital really, in my opinion, to start, which you don't need a ton. And
Was Shopify around then?
yeah, Shopify was so basic. It was,
Yeah, Shopify now is freaking incredible. I've created a couple of e-commerce stores, so like
Yeah.
it's crazy now.
I like it. Yeah, no, I like
yeah,
it a lot.
you can really. I mean, I think it's like 70% of like. So you wouldn't believe how many like when you just go on a website, it's really just like Shopify. It's
Yeah.
just someone. It's not even.
I tried to use Shopify for one of our websites, but I forgot what it was. I ended up using Squarespace. But
Squarespace, yeah, all of them now
anyway,
are so good.
I tried it, and the reason I didn't like it is because I don't feel like I was super creative when it came to like visual presence, creating websites, and I liked numbers way more. I liked math way more, and I felt like I wasn't using my best to my abilities, so I quit trying it, and I failed. The website was an utter fail, and I didn't want to contact people to ask to promote it and stuff like that. I just wasn't interested after a few weeks of doing it. And then, like, the last thing on the video was, you can trade stocks. And this was before, like, day trading was super popular in the dot-com bubble, like, 20 years ago. And it's starting to come back a little bit. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try that. And I liked math. I loved graphs. And that's kind of how I did it. And so, point blank simple, my motivation, a lot of it comes from as a young age, knowing I didn't want to follow society's plan. I wanted to be my own boss, do what I actually wanted to do in my life. And the cool part about it is, if I didn't live stream and didn't teach, I could day trade for 30 minutes a day. Probably I could shorten it up to maybe an hour max sometimes, and I'd be done for the rest of the day. And I tell you, it pays me like no other job I can ever get. So a lot of my motivation simply comes from following my passion and doing what I want to do at a young age, being my own boss and making money anywhere in the world, so I could travel with friends. My goal was to travel with friends and tour the world. So obviously I have a lot more motivation than that, but when it came to trading, that's what my motivation was, I guess.
Are you a believer on more of? Is it more of? Like when people say like it's not about motivation, it's more discipline. Are you a believer in that? Like you're not. Do you wake up every day like motivated to trade, or are you just like
determination and motivation are two completely different things?
Yeah. So would you say you're more? What's driven your success isn't exactly day-to-day motivation, but more of just doing it no matter what.
That's a really good point. Yeah. No, it's not about motivation. It's way more about determination.
Okay. Yeah.
And being determined to have that be my life, I guess. Yeah. Because think about it, every day, and you don't wake up every day in the morning like, man, I just can't wait to go get a good pump in the gym. Some days you think like that.
No. Would you say like that determination was something like intrinsic within you, or is it something you've built?
I think it's something that
like from forever. Have you always been like not hard-headed, but just like you're like I'm doing this and you're gonna do it, like, or is it something you've been like you've had to build up?
I think I've always really been determined, and how it came out of me was I think. Like in high school, like I wasn't like super popular. I was kind of, like I'm not gonna say anything. You used to bully the shit out of me.
I never bullied.
No, I'm kidding. But I've just basically. So I think a lot of that was just like time for me to not care what other people think about me. Time for me to do what's best for me.
I was thinking about that earlier today. Actually, that's something I admire about you is. Just like how little you do care what other people think of you, which is pretty. I feel like in today's world, it's a very.
It was hard. I'll be honest. It was hard telling my roommates to get the fuck out of my dorm room so I can film a cringy YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like if you watched my first few YouTube videos, you're like, this kid, dude. Like what is going on?
Like don't give him my money.
Yeah, like don't. Like I would be like swirling in that chair, like. So here's my channel, and then just like and a lot of it came from I was kind of part of me was nervous what people thought, but the other part of me was like, who cares what they think? I'm gonna try this anyway.
Yeah.
And I always had like a vision, like I'm gonna do this, and you know, today we hit 100K on TikTok, and now it's like, dude, can I make a video with you as opposed to why are you making videos? It's just really different. I'm not gonna name a name, but there was a kid that in high school I went to high school with, and
Is it me?
no, not you. No one in this room or this chat. And he's one of my good friends now, but he used to pick on me for watching stock videos and stuff, and he just was relentless, and he was like, don't do that, like, and now he's one of my students. Now he pays me monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just like, at one point, do people realize they truly can do what they want to do in their life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's guys, I mean, students that are 65.
Yeah,
and
it's a
they're-
lot more who you surround yourself with as
Yeah.
well. Like, if you have people just around
Yeah,
you
I think that's
constantly
probably
that
like the number one thing is
that
who
are
you
judging
surround
you.
yourself with.
Yeah.
you don't want
I
that.
agree.
Like,
Yeah, I
this kid right
found
here.
that is huge, and just like, not even just eliminating like your friend circle, but just like making it smaller with people who are actually on the same page as you.
Yeah, just pushing you to
And
be your
want the
best.
same things to do and push you and like are better than you. Like, not like, you know what I mean, like better than you at things, not
Yeah.
like a better person, whatever. But
Exactly.
like I can wholeheartedly say Jason is a better trader than I am, and I love being around him every day because I learn something from him every day.
Right.
I'm not just like, you know what I mean, like I get something from him. It's
Yeah.
not just an empty relationship, and he gets stuff from me. I give him ideas, I design things for him. Like, you want to develop relationships with people that you can give things to and they can give to you. You don't want to just have people who just suck you
Takers.
dry and just make your life harder and make your life miserable, whatever.
I think having creative
Find the
friends
core.
is key. I
Oh yeah.
think obviously motivated friends and friends who are really determined in certain areas, but just creative friends, period. I don't consider myself to be the most creative person. That's why I have to surround myself with, you know, people like Owen, people like Reese and Dagan, who have ideas that I would have never thought of. And so that's what I like the most about the group we have is the creativity. I mean, just a simple fact that, I mean, I didn't think I'd be doing this tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
But, Owen, or any of you guys want to touch on that before we move to his second question?
Like what our motivation
what
is.
inspired us? Is that what you're...
I think again we kind of hit the nail right in the coffin. Is obviously me was travel. I don't know why I was so obsessed with travel, and I don't ever really travel. I mean, I
Just
mean,
the idea of bringing your laptop anywhere in the world
And
and,
being
just
able to
making
make
a
money.
quick buck
Yeah.
wherever you want.
yeah,
Like,
I
that
got to
should
go
motivate anybody, honestly.
like this year was the year I finally decided to say fuck it. My rule is to travel. I'm gonna travel, and I went to Phoenix, Arizona. My wife for a honeymoon. I went to Miami for a banquet I got invited to. Probably one of the best weekends of my life. And then now,
Went to like Placid.
yeah, but that's not like a huge trip. I'm talking like I wanted to start going like out of country.
Okay.
And we're going
Like
to
4-hour work week type shit. Like
yeah, like that.
yeah.
And so we're going to Tulum, Mexico. And the best part about it is all of us but one person in that group has paid for that entire trip tenfold by trading. So just sitting at your desk trading has paid for our entire trip. And this isn't like trading for 2 years to pay for a trip. This is like you traded in the
This
last
month.
3 weeks.
Yeah, a
you know
couple
what I mean?
weeks.
Sometimes one day. And so that's what's really cool about it. And I'm excited to shoot videos with guys and actually use that money was what really had me keep going. I think was I don't spend much money, but when I pulled it out to actually like use it, like
Yeah.
that's just. I remember I made a $300 trade when my account was at like $4 or $5 grand. I bought one of those monitors in there to play video games on,
Yeah.
and I remember when it came in, I was like, holy shit, this is from trading.
Yeah.
The trading monitor. And I just like lifted it up in my dorm room and Quinn, my roommate at the time, probably walked in butt ass naked. He was like, what are you doing? I'm like, but,
That's great.
you want anything else here?
For
Oh, that's
motivation and inspiring me. I don't know exactly. I'm only 21 years old. I don't really know that I have a objective or like North Star that I'm going for right now. I'm still kind of figuring it out, it's nice to say. I could sit here and say, yeah, I trade crypto and interested in blockchain and stuff for some reason, but I would be lying to you if I said that I knew exactly why I was doing it. But I think mainly is I'm just super curious about the technology, and I don't know, I just love learning. So I think that's what it is. Like, I went through a weird phase in my life where I didn't care about money at all. I'd give people money. I'd give people things.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm leaving my locker unlocked. If they steal my stuff, I hope they have it.
You still have it unlocked.
I still do. I don't know. I'm just I don't know. I went through a very deep spiritual journey for about a year. So I don't think there's a North Star pointing me right now, but I do know as far as crypto, blockchain, NFTs, whatever, I think it's just the technology that excites me so much.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably like a better motivator than anything. Like, if you're like, you can make money in it and whatever, but eventually if you don't make money, you're going to switch to something else. So I'm just interested in the technology, and I think that's probably a good thing to be like.
To add on that, the locker thing, didn't you find it all your shit on the floor? a few
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, Colby, he's like, Owen, everything in your locker's on the floor.
Was it him?
No, I
Oh.
don't know what it was from, but it's still unlocked. So if anyone wants it, I leave my car unlocked too. If someone wants to steal stuff,
Dude.
uh,
So
Yeah,
the second question Lord had, we'll answer one more after this, then we'll wrap up episode 1. How would I go about managing your account as far as taking money out, and how much would you keep in the trade with? Okay, I'm terrible at reading. How much would you keep in the trade with if you started over? Now, this is a really good point, and I think what he's basically saying is, when do you pay yourself? Now, for me, I pay myself at the end of the month. I don't need to pay myself weekly or bi-weekly. I think at the stage I'm in, that's silly. Now, what I do is, at the end of the month, I do my draws, where basically I see, okay, where's my crypto accounts, where's my stock accounts, and probably about 90% of my income comes from my day trading account. And there's always $100,000 in there, liquid cash, and whatever's added onto that, I take out. So, for example, we did a draw last November, and it was at $183,000. So what I did, took $83,000 out, and I left the other $100,000 in there to continue to trade with the next month. I didn't put that $83K back in the market. And a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, just put it back in S&P 500 or keep reinvesting it, keep building it. The problem with that is, if you keep all your eggs in one basket, that's a recipe for disaster. So if I could have had probably over $1 million invested in the stock market, and if I were to continue to do that, I would be bag holding a lot of stocks, needless to say. What I like to do, other than day trading, obviously crypto is huge to me, but I'm starting to be a more advanced real estate investor. I'm looking at a property tomorrow at my lunch, and that's one thing I like to do with my cash. So again, recap, at the end of my month, I take whatever's out. Now, hypothetically, I did have a red month. I think I actually was it 1 or 2 red months this year. It was February. I came off my it was March. I came off my at the time, my best months when it came to ever day trading. It was January. I made $60,000. This is back when I traded $25,000, so that was a really big month. In numbers now, that'd be like a $350,000 month. In February, I made another like $30,000, and then March, I took a decent sized hit. I think I lost $20,000 or $15,000 in the month. At that point, I had to add more cash back in my account to remain at a flat balance. So whatever your balance may be, again, I do not suggest pulling money out of your account until you're over the pattern day trader law. But for me, it was, okay, now I'm going to keep my account at $100,000. At the end of the month, whatever is on top of that, I'm just going to take out and do a wire transfer right to my bank account. Now, I will probably progress as a trader, and in a few years, maybe it'll be, okay, at the end of the month, I'll keep only $1 million in there, and I'll take $300,000 out, or whatever it is. And I don't have like a set salary where I'm like, okay, I need to have $50K a month to pay for my absurd amount of bills and my wife's spending problem. It's
Ivy.
Yeah, she's pretty good at spending, but I pay myself so low. At one point, until literally October. It was $2,000 a month is what I was able to like pay myself on. So
Damn, boy, rich.
no, I just was. I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed it.
Yeah,
But
better use for.
So that's the answer to that question. I'm not sure there's a better way to do it. I'm gonna look for the next question.
Oh.
Any topics you guys are brewing on? Okay.
I have an idea. We could just go around the four of us. If you could go back and give your past self some advice, what would it be? Just like a quick something.
Wow, Dagan. I'm not kidding.
My past self.
What would how about this?
Yeah,
What,
don't hold that fucking Bitcoin. No.
Mine would be no. Let's say what would we say at each other's funerals? Not kidding. Past advice. Wait, some of you guys go first. I gotta think on that.
Yeah, gotta
Me
take a
too. That's
second.
a very deep question. Let me see.
I guess I can go first.
Okay, yeah, you go first, Megan.
If we're talking like trading wise, which is kind of what I was
Oh,
talking
okay. Are we
about.
talking more trading wise? Okay.
Yeah, like financial wise.
Oh,
Oh,
trading-wise.
financial.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I was thinking like spiritually.
I would say probably don't be afraid to lose money.
I like that.
That was a big one for me. At first, I was really afraid I was going to lose money and like never be able to recover. Now I can be down $1,000, and I know in my head that I can recover from this. It's not a big deal. It's all the name of the game. Good analogy for that, I guess, would be like it's like you're paying your employees. Like it's like you're owning a business, day trading, especially when you're making the profits that you are. You have a red day, you lose $1,000, you lose $2,000. You're paying your employees for the week. It's not the end of the world. You'll get the money back. As long as you don't like blow up your account in your $5,000 account and you lose $3,000. But I think loss is part of the journey, and you have to be able to accept it, not dwell on it forever.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing. Sorry, do you want to?
No, you can go.
The first thing I want to touch on that I would probably have to change from past experiences or give my past self advice is to not give in to greed. There would be times where I'd make my smooth 1% on the day, and you see those candlesticks rising, and you just want to hold and hold and hold until that one red candlestick pops up, and then you're down the 2%, 3%, or whatever it may be. So make sure to always just take your profits when you hit your goal. You don't have to always just get more and more. The second thing I want to touch on is FOMO, fear of missing out. If you see a stock rip up 30 to 300%, that doesn't mean you have to jump in on it. Like, always wait for confirmation. Don't think that just because you didn't get on that one, there's not going to be any other
Right.
opportunities. There's always going to
Right.
be another stock that rips up. So
Yeah, that's
just
a really good point.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
like in the Discord, a lot of people always say, is this too late to get into? If you're asking yourself that, then the answer is
Mhm.
probably yes. Like, the
Yeah.
move is probably done if you're asking yourself that.
Yeah, Reese really, and Dagan, I guess, took mine. FOMO is huge.
Yeah.
But for me, I do like how he said there's always going to be another stock. That's, that just because maybe you missed out on GameStop stock or AMC stock doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the future. Oftentimes it happens 100 times a day under your nose and you don't even know about it. But what I would say is it's kind of a spin-off on Reese's on the greed aspect, but really just focus on consistency. So when I first started, I tried to, like many of you, get rich quick. Cheap penny stock. I'd see those, Tim Sykes, Millionaire Mentor. Not that I don't know him. I have never met him. Not shining any bad light in his name. But you see I traded micro penny stocks from 5,000 to 7 million or whatever he says in his videos. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to, get out of high school as a millionaire with a few $1,000s, and don't we all? But the problem is that's just so unrealistic, and way more luck needs to play into it. Now, what I really focused on when I sat down and I lost probably a few $1,000s, shortly after that MYO stock was like, what do I need to do to have this just take my full-time job? And I said, you know what? I can live off $50 to $100 a day. So my goal was $100 a day. Now it was really hard because I wasn't trading with 10,000. I was trading with 3,000 or 4,000. So my daily goal was a little bit higher than 1% a day. But the simple aspect of me trying to focus on one little monetary goal, small goal, achievable goal that I can then hit 1 or 2 days a week, that's what really led to my success. Focus on being consistent and simply just let it take your full-time job. Escape the 9 to 5. And that's why I think I'm going to title this first episode is because I think if you guys get anything out of this is focus on the small winners. Small wins lead to a big result. There's that saying that base hits win baseball games, not home runs, which I think is kind of a bad saying because I do believe home runs win baseball games. But basically saying, like I said, focus on the small gains. Let that account build up over time. You're in no rush. You don't, buy 20. You don't need a few $1 million if you don't have it. So whatever your count is, focus on 1% of that. If you have 10,000, good. Focus on $100 a day. If you have 25,000, even better. Focus on $250 a day. I now have a $100,000 account. I focus on $1,000 a day. Now at the end of the year, I'm going to be adjusting that to $3,000 a day, just because I feel like in my point in my career, I'm ready to take the next step. But that's what, if I had to tell myself one bit of advice is not slow down, but just focus on the small winners, I guess. I think that's what would have helped me a lot.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I would say it would just be to take action. Like, I know you touched on this a little bit, but like, I don't know, you don't have to be focused on like kind of almost leads into what, like, connects with what you're saying. You don't have to like hit that one penny stock. Just like, and it doesn't also have to do with just trading. Like, it could be just signing up for the Discord.
Social media.
It could be just like, like take action and do something. Like, just thinking about it. Like, I remember watching so many freaking videos, like Ricky Gutierrez videos, like thinking I was like a pro trader like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, oh, I know how to do this now. And then like just like actually being in the market and like actually just like doing it is so much better than, I don't know, it's like what you said at the beginning, experience is like so important. Just take action and do it. Don't sit around and tell yourself you're gonna do it, but just actually do it.
Yeah, and kind of to end on this note, like, it's never too early to get started.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm in college. I'm a broke college kid. I have no money." Well, get your money up, and obviously, if you only have a few $100s to invest, doesn't mean you have to throw it in the stock market. Invest it other ways. There's so many ways to invest your money. Cryptocurrency I think is great. My friend Colby and I, one weekend we flipped a car, bought it and sold it. Not gonna say who we bought it from, and we made each $2,500 off of a $2,500 investment. I know my cousin, his full-time job, and he makes 6 figures a year, and he flips couches. And I thought he was BSing me until I went and did an internship with him for a few days. It just take action.
What was the first book we read for the Mind Mastery? Was it Think or Grow Rich? Or
Think and Grow Rich was the Mindset Mastery book that we read, yeah.
Was that the only one we did? Or?
No, we did another one. Oh, jeez.
I don't know. It was one of these books we read, but there was this one part of it that I will always remember. So, every little penny counts.
Talk about the compound effect.
Yes, the compound effect.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah,
there was a
I
part.
didn't even attend that.
Yeah,
I've read that book
perfect.
like twice, so I just know that.
He was talking about like every day people will go to a coffee shop and spend $4 to $5 on a coffee when you could spend 20 cents to make your own. Mm-hmm. Investing that little amount of money in cryptos or stocks, within 10 years you'll just the compound. I mean, it's crazy how much you'll gain from that, from just making your own coffee or
the little things, really.
Walking somewhere instead of driving somewhere, saving a little gas and investing that. That's just I'll always remember that.
Not always having to get
That's one of the hardest things, though. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah, for
it is
people,
very hard.
Is to actually.
I fall victim to it a lot. I mean, I
Chipotle.
get Chipotle,
But not for
more
nothing.
than I should. But I mean, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It's a very.
Chipotle
It's not black and white.
Is
It's
a
not black and
healthier and a cheaper alternative than a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
other
white. And like, yeah, I do agree.
If you were gonna eat out every single day at one restaurant, I probably would. It would.
Be Chipotle,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just how good it is.
McDonald's.
I tried that.
You did?
Yeah, I got today like 11 or 12.
Supersize me.
I tried to do the super size me challenge, and my mom came in here like before you
With
got here with
McDonald's.
McDonald's. I almost puked.
What's the Super Size Me challenge?
You never watched that?
Is it the Netflix documentary?
We'll talk about this
Yeah,
off
it is,
camera.
it is.
Yeah.
But
Um,
any other notes we want to add before we wrap this up?
just be yourself, guys.
Yeah, don't.
Who cares what anybody else thinks?
Yeah.
We're all just on this.
We're
Floating
gonna die.
rock.
We're gonna die, guys.
We're on this floating rock.
The riskiest thing you could do in this life
It's taking
is not do what you want to do in your life.
Mhm.
Riskiest thing you could do is, I'll say that again, is work for someone else. Work doing something you don't like. Everyone wants to talk about, safety and security. Screw that. I mean, it's you have one life. Why would you waste it on working at a paper mill, your whole life doing something you absolutely hate? For me, I've never thought I would do it, but I genuinely wake up every single morning and I can't wait to trade. And I'm telling the truth. I wake up, Sunday nights are hard for me to go to sleep because I'm so excited because I had to wait the entire weekend for Monday to either work out, to trade with you guys, to work with you guys. I genuinely, for the first time in my entire life, I can accurately say I'm very excited every single morning, and I don't drink coffee. I mean, I take pre-workout.
Yeah, no caffeine, but I'm on the no caffeine grind.
I can't do that.
No, but I think that a cool thing about it too is, I mean, you do have older people in your audience as well, and you do have older PC members and stuff, but I feel a large majority of them are our age.
Oh
20.
yeah, no, most
And if
definitely.
you think it's hard now to say,
Yes.
crap, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can change routes now, like, imagine once you have a family, kids, it'll be just even harder, and
Hey, dude, kids are
so, yeah.
Nice kidding.
So,
Just
yeah,
get
I
a
would say
dog.
just take action. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
Start now. But alrighty, guys, this wraps up episode 1 of PCAH Pika. We're working on a name, Profit Chasers After Hours. I know it's a jank setup for now, but I promise it'll get better. This is kind of like a off the whim. Oh shoot, the hole in the chair is getting bigger, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting bigger because his ass is sitting in it. I'm just kidding.
Fat as fuck.
Alrighty, guys, I will catch you in episode 2 every other Thursday. Oh wow, I'm just kidding. All right, peace, guys.